Although Gervonta Davis has always been renowned for his unvarnished candor, his recent comments have caused some to doubt his dedication to boxing. Davis has expressed over the past few months how deeply frustrated he is with the sport. His notorious claim that boxing is trash and his public conflict with Turki Coerced, a Saudi sports tycoon, have revealed his deepening disenchantment. Davis has been outspoken about the sport's trajectory, and it's becoming more and more obvious that his connection to boxing is far more nuanced than it first appeared to be. Davis's failure to attend the coveted Ring Magazine Awards in London added to his mounting dissatisfaction with boxing. The top personalities in boxing come to this event, which is sometimes called the Oscars of the sport. There was a lot of conjecture on the reasons behind Davis's conspicuous absence from the tournament, even though he was the World Championship champion. Despite the presence of celebrities like Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, Evander Holyfield, Alexander Usyk, and Devin Haney, Davis was not present. The question of why a fighter of Davis's level would be shut out of such a renowned event baffled both fans and commentators. According to Davis, the solution is found in his long-standing conflicts with boxing's elite, especially with Ring Magazine owner Alel Sheikh. As a symbolic gesture of the greater problems Davis has with the sport, his absence from the Ring Magazine Awards was only the beginning. Davis has long complained about the politics of boxing and the growing commercialization of the sport, which has taken attention away from athletes and fans. Davis remarked, "Boxing is just too much politics. Decisions are now being made by people who don't even care about the sport. It's not about the fighters anymore." His annoyances appear to stem from his conviction that external factors are undermining the sport's integrity. One of the main causes of Davis's dissatisfaction with boxing is his feud with Alel Sheikh. A string of fruitless conversations caused their relationship to deteriorate, and Davis has publicly denounced Alel Sheikh's efforts to import elite warriors to Saudi Arabia. Davis made it plain that he would not be amenable when Alel Sheikh approached him with offers to take part in prominent events in Saudi Arabia. Davis demanded 2 Ferraris simply to sit down and discuss the possible deal, a move that some viewed as bold and others as astute. His desire was not about luxury. Rather, it was about establishing his value in a field that, in his opinion, is becoming more and more dominated by financial gain rather than a sincere passion for the game. Davis's demand was met with a mix of laughter and defiance from Alel Sheikh. He made fun of Davis's request by saying, "If you want, we'll send you 2 gloves." Davis's unwillingness to accept Alel Sheikh's demands was a reflection of his larger discontent with the condition of boxing and went beyond simple personal belongings or financial arrangements. According to Davis, everything that is wrong with boxing is embodied by the increasing Saudi influence in the sport. Davis is still dubious, despite the fact that many boxers have welcomed the money inflow and the chance for enormous payouts. "Now, it all comes down to who can pay the most," he stated. "They don't give a damn about the bouts, the fighters, or the fans. The money is all that matters." Within the boxing community, Davis's remarks have provoked intense discussions. In a time when the sport's financial aspects frequently eclipse its athletic aspects, some view his position as a voice of reason. His remarks are seen by others as nothing more than resentment over perceived slights. His absence from the Ring Magazine Awards has been a major source of concern. Given his credentials and support base, many believed Davis should have been present. Ryan Garcia, whose victory over Devin Haney was ruled a no contest after he tested positive for a prohibited substance recently, was granted a spot at the event. This only made Davis feel even more disrespected. Some contend that the money flowing into boxing, especially from Saudi Arabia, is reviving the sport, despite Davis's outspoken condemnation of its commercialization. With its high payouts, Saudi Arabia has swiftly emerged as a major force in the boxing world, drawing elite competitors like Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua. Because of its financial strength, the monarchy has been able to hold well-known events that have enthralled viewers all around the world. The possibility of earning money that could change their lives is enough for many fighters to ignore worries about the sport's increasing commercialization. But for Davis, the sport's values are on the line. He feels that boxing should be about more than simply money, and he has worked hard to get to where he is. "I've put forth a lot of effort to get this point. For me, this goes beyond a paycheck," he stated. "It's about the values of boxing." He is irritated not only by the money but also by what he believes to be a change in the sport's principles. The battle between traditional ideals and the contemporary, profit-driven world of boxing is reflected in the ongoing tension between Davis and Alel Sheikh. Fighters like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have taken advantage of the financial opportunities Saudi Arabia has to offer, while Davis has based his career on domestic fan bases and personal connections. According to Davis, the problem lies not just in the amount of the salary but also in the change in priorities that has resulted from it. According to him, fighters are increasingly viewed as just pieces in a bigger scheme, and their value is only determined by how much money they can make. The problem is made more complicated by Davis's readiness to criticize his opponents. For example, his back and forth with Terence Crawford highlighted the economic realities that control boxing. Davis responded to Crawford's remark about his frustrations by contrasting their salaries, underscoring the increasing value placed on money rather than ability. Another elite boxer, Shakur Stevenson, has hinted that Al Sheikh may one day make Davis an alluring offer to attract him to Saudi Arabia. For Davis, however, maintaining the purity of the sport is more important than the money. Given his dissatisfaction with boxing's current trajectory, some have theorized that Davis might be thinking about retiring. "Sometimes I feel like I've done enough," he said earlier this year, shocking supporters by implying that he would be leaving the sport. Many initially wrote off his remarks as the annoyance of a boxer at the top of his game, but as the months have gone by, it has become evident that his worries are far more profound. The rivalry with Al Sheikh and Saudi Arabia's increasing sway over boxing have only strengthened Davis's wish to disassociate himself from the sport. Davis is clearly at a crossroads, as evidenced by his complaints of the commercialization of boxing and his annoyance at the lack of respect he receives from those in positions of authority. Even while many fighters are keen to take advantage of Saudi Arabia's financial potential, Davis is adamant that boxing should be about more than just making money. Tim Bradley, a former champion and pundit, has publicly backed Davis and praised his unreserved attitude. Bradley remarked, "Tank, you got a new fan, dog. You've been proving to me that you're a real person. That appeals to me." Bradley's comments have heightened the debate further because they go against his prior endorsements of boxers like Shakur Stevenson who have taken advantage of the Saudi offers. Bradley has cautioned, meanwhile, that Davis will lose respect if he ever compromises his morals and takes a deal in Saudi Arabia. A greater tension in boxing is the struggle between tradition and change, which is shown by the controversy surrounding Davis's remarks and his fight with Al Sheikh. For a lot of fans, boxing has always been about competition, honor, and heritage. The Saudi influence is seen by fighters like Davis, who have based their careers on local fan bases and personal relationships to their communities, as a betrayal of those ideals. Al Sheikh and his team's enormous payouts are viewed as a quick route to fame and wealth, drawing warriors who value money more than their passion for the sport. However, Davis's position is criticized for being hypocritical. After all, Davis has never hesitated to accept large payouts, and the world frequently witnesses his lavish lifestyle. They wonder if his reluctance to cooperate with the Saudis is motivated by moral convictions or if it is just a response to being disregarded by the ruling class. They contend that Davis should not have demanded Ferraris in the first place if he genuinely believed in the integrity of boxing. Davis is unwavering in his convictions in spite of the criticism. Fans who value sincerity above opportunism have come to love him because of his determination to compromise, even at the sacrifice of possible earnings. For these fans, Davis is a welcome voice in a sport that is frequently controlled by political scheming and business interests. But not everybody is persuaded. According to some, Davis's position is restricting his professional options, particularly as boxing becomes increasingly internationalized. Fighters like Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Alexander Usyk have been able to raise their profile and reach new audiences because of Saudi Arabia's increasing influence. Davis runs the risk of falling behind as the sport changes if he doesn't take part in these competitions. For the time being, though, Davis is adamant that boxing's future should involve more than just financial gain. It ought to center on the values, heritage, and purity of the sport. The sport is at a turning point as Saudi Arabia maintains its hegemony in boxing. The planned unification of boxing under a single league supported by Saudi Arabia has the potential to transform the sport by giving athletes access to previously unheard-of possibilities and financial security. But boxers like Davis, who view the Saudi influence as a danger to the legitimacy of the sport, may also become resentful of this change. Despite the attraction of huge salaries, Davis is still a strong opponent of the Saudi movement and has not joined it. It is unclear if his position will change in response to a $150 million offer, but one thing is certain: boxing's future will be shaped for years to come by the conflict between tradition and commercialization.